this is an important panel from a line of experts in the industry, highly accomplished leaders of India who have built India to the stage that is in, and more is going to happen. These are representatives from different aspects of India in their growth, in future growth and past growth. And we have the following people. I'm seeing only 3 people. I'm going to mention other people's name also once they come in. We have Mr. Anil K. Jha. He is the chairman of the Steel Authority of India, and he will introduce, once I mention other names also, I'll call you back for you to be introducing yourselves. And we have another dynamite leader, Dr. Sarabjit Singh. He has variety of backgrounds. He has been a leader in the military. Please mention when you start talking the highest role that you reached and your military experience, which is very important for the country, and as a professor and an author of books. And be ready to display the book when you start talking about it. And Mr. Raja, Dr. Raja Sivan, same with you. Your books and anything else, paraphernalia, we want to see and we want to be proud of you. Mr. Anil Jha, feel free if you have any awards that you want to be able to show the people so that leaders, you are not only leaders, you are role models for people in India and anywhere else in the world. So may we start with Mr. Anil Jha, and I'm going to do the change in the rounds, so don't hesitate. Mr. Anil Jha, please say about your background, what you are doing, what your leadership role is as an introduction, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Murthy. A very good morning to you and late evening to all my fellow panelists who is joining this webinar from India. There is a slightly correction, Dr. Murthy. I was never chairman of Steel Authority of India Limited. I was chairman of Coal India Limited.
Okay,
and
good enough.
I
That's
worked.
good.
Yes. I
And
worked for some
you'll be
time.
appointed to the higher levels going forward. No problem.
I worked as an advisor to Steel Authority of India Limited for some time.
Okay.
So as far as my brief introduction is concerned, I did my graduation from Indian School of Mines, Dhanbad in mining engineering in 1983.
Yeah.
Then I joined as a graduate engineer trainee in Coal India Limited.
Okay.
To give you a brief perspective of the Coal India Limited is the world's largest coal producing company.
Yeah.
So whatever electricity is being produced in India, out of that 72% electricity comes from thermal electricity.
Okay.
And of that 72%, 86% coal is being supplied from Coal India Limited only. Last year it produced around 775 million tons. This year it is slated to produce around 850 million tons. So it is the world's largest coal producing company. I joined this company in 1983 as a graduate engineer trainee, and I retired from Coal India Limited as chairman Coal India Limited in January 2020. So all through my career, I worked as a coal miner, except for a brief period of 2 years when I was Director Production and Planning in Manganese Ore India Limited. That is a public sector undertaking under Ministry of Steel. It produces manganese, which is used mainly in steel industry.
Yeah.
And after superannuating from Coal India Limited in 2020, I worked for 3 years as chairman of Jindal Power Limited, a company responsible, Jindal Power Limited, as chairman Jindal Power Limited, for a period of almost 3 years, where the main objective of the company is to produce cheapest thermal electricity and to progress in solar and wind electricity also.
Mm-hmm.
After demitting my office as chairman of Jindal Power Limited, I worked as an advisor to Steel Authority of India Limited.
Mm-hmm.
Presently, I am advising National Thermal Power Corporation Limited, and I am
Mm-hmm.
advising number of private companies to
Mm-hmm.
achieve their
Yeah.
ultimate objective and producing coal and producing power.
Yeah.
Dr. Murthy, I am firm believer that until and unless a country is self-reliant in its energy requirement, no country can be a developed country.
Yeah.
And in this context, as far as India is concerned, coal is going to play a major role.
Mm-hmm.
So I will continue to see how India can be self-reliant as far as power production is concerned.
Uh-huh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Murthy. Thank you.
And then could you, after when we come back, be ready to talk about how India rates in all these, mines and minerals kind of industries and other industries that you served when we come back in the second round?
Okay,
Rating.
Dr. Murthy.
Yeah.
I will do that.
Okay. Then I'm using some kind of an alphabetical order, if you want to call it. Dr. Sarabjit Singh, please enlighten us about your holistic backgrounds that you have. And I understand you have written multiple books. Please show it to us so we'll be proud of you.
Good evening from India and good morning to America. I am Sarabjit Singh. I did my graduation from famous college Punjab Engineering College Chandigarh, which is quite popular, and did my master degree in computer science from IIT Kanpur,
Mm-hmm.
and did my PhD from Punjab University.
Mm-hmm.
I joined Army in the Corps of Signals and
Mm-hmm.
was in charge of telecommunication at various levels. I rose to the level of a brigadier, and I was controlling as the deputy chief signal officer in command headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
I have been engaged in microwave communication at USS level, mobile communication grids, which is mobile. It can keep on shifting.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've done a lot of work in the fiber cables, and then I was in charge of SATCOM.
Mm-hmm.
During my tenure, I was also director of the Wargaming Development Center. I did a lot of work in India and in US about two-sided war games for this. Having served about 30 years in the defense, I took premature retirement because I was in demand in McNally Bharat at Calcutta,
Mm-hmm.
a company which was dealing with the developing of long range belt conveyor for coal. So I worked there about 5 years, and I was looking after the information system, software development, and mainly the integration. Thereafter, I shifted to the academics. So I have been principal of engineering college for 16 years, and then I retired in 2016. During my tenure, a lot of project was done, research work in communication, in innovations, and particularly the grid communication. After retirement, then I have been now engaged in writing books. My second book is on career challenge during global uncertainty. It covers about the geographical boundaries and problem, then geopolitical situation, the ongoing war, and the technology explosion, which may upset certain this. So this book primarily is for young people in the group of say 3 to 5 years. My next book is on right technology wave for career success. It recommends there are not of emerging technology, how to harness those, how to use that for national development, how to make it an asset. The fourth book, which is there, is very important, knowledge sharing. Many people keep their knowledge close to their chest, don't want to give up that other will copy it. So this book takes away that fear, that learn as a continuous learning, innovating, collaborating, sharing, and growing. And the new book which is coming up is on effective time management. Everything is time. So one has to manage that time. Coming to India, India is a large country which we all know, has progressed very well, particularly the last 10 years. One great progress is in the communication, where it has gone to panchayat and rural area. The fiber cable has been laid underground along the roads, taken to various villages and various centers of populations. The other is the set communication. It has developed all over in a very big way. We have done a lot of development in the agriculture in particular, selection of seed, early warning system about weather, then control of market for this,
Okay, am I inside?
prices,
I think I can see.
and now we are
Your
surplus
face.
and we are feeding
But I
other
don't know,
countries.
there's some problem in the connection, this thing. I tried several times.
But you
So,
already got the link, right?
Yeah,
yeah, I got
okay,
the link. I logged in through that.
okay,
Then the uh, code took very long to come for some reason.
okay, okay.
Now I'm
The main
inside.
thing,
You're already
what
inside.
is
Okay.
known to
You
all
want to
is
please
If you
share.
wish, I can
our,
talk only. It doesn't matter.
No problem.
I
Okay,
think you can
okay.
see.
I will introduce you. Okay. Please.
okay.
Just please let me know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so we had a lot of work in space has been done, space explorations, and everybody knows that we have safely landed on moon. And we have last week we had done docking of 2 satellites, which will be undocking soon. And that is the stage that by 2040, we may be having India's space station up in the air. India has been helping small countries to carry their satellites in our launch and put them in the orbit for their benefits. So space program is doing very, very well. We have come only last week that India has developed a hydrogen uh, propelled railway engine with a horsepower of 1250, which is being tested next week. And this will probably will be a great breakthrough. It has done indigenously. We have controlled the emission to great extent that all major trains, those routes have been electrified. There's no diesel engine running, no coal engines. They're all on electric. And now, with coming in the hydrogen, probably will further improve the situation. We have done very well in roads network, a road that extended to the extreme area that has improved the accessibility to education center, to medical center, to healthcare. The road network is very, very fast growing. Where most are 6 lane, and bridges and roads have been improved tremendously. India had a new policy, NEP 2020, National Education Policy, which is so that the education in the professional institutions should be industry aligned, job oriented, and absorbing the emerging technology. Now, this policy is being implemented in the entire country and has done a great boost so that we can even feed the highly qualified and expert technical manpower to the other nations. Healthcare area has also progressed very well. During COVID, India could develop its own vaccine within 1 year. That's a collaborative innovation and a great success that it could feed about 2 million doses to the country and also export to other nations to help. Another striking point about India is a major player in SARC country, which is a South Asia cooperation, regional cooperation. All countries on the rim of India. India is supporting them tremendously. India is also part of the BRICS, where Brazil is a member, and India is contributing significantly and more now. For example, Indonesia, the president from there is our chief guest on the Republic Day on 26th of January. So we have very close working, cooperating with the neighbors, and India could definitely be a voice in this South, global South.
Dr. Sarabjit Singh, we will come back one more round for you to continue. I want to
Okay.
introduce the other experts in the leader,
Yeah.
and for the audience to know that I want to emulate all the leaders who are there on the panel. Each of the names I don't have to repeat, and I want to be like you in my when I grow up. Dr. Raja Sivan, um, you are again multifaceted. You are a prime mover at the country level in multiple disciplines, I know. So give us your background, mention any books or any works that people can see, and your the agricultural background I see already of what you have done. Please introduce yourselves and enlighten us.
Uh, Good morning to the other side of the world, which is US and other parts, which is good morning. And in India, it's good evening, late evening. I am Dr. Raja Sivan, honorary doctorate, which I received from the Washington University, Digital University, and this also becomes the first in the world. Now, my journey started very early in life, and I've been connected to various initiatives which people thought it was not possible. Correct? Practically, people said no, it is not possible. So across verticals in India, we have shown that what was impossible for others, we made it possible. And even today, we have that energy. The youth of this country is able to change the whereabouts, and I have been more of a, what do you say, a motivator, mentor, and an encourager to talent more than education, whatever it is, because talent is the only one which will bring out the results in each individual. And right across verticals, whether it's healthcare, we have delivered. And Dr. Sabjit was talking, and I'm proud that I am also a part of that coaxing team. In 2000, we developed the bioinformatics R&D tool for new drug discovery, and it was an indigenous product along with research institutes, IJB. We did that, and the result of that platform was when scientists and other institutes started using, they identified 4 new SARS-Gs of the coronavirus in 2000, early 2000. In 2019, India had to take it up because the Wuhan virus, what was detected, and the journey started. India, the Prime Minister asked, put the products on the table, and the SARS virus, the genes which are identified, which is unique, patented by India, could produce today, along with Bharat Biotech and others, the Covaxin, which today He's a result of an R&D from the grassroots level, where India became the product company of vaccine, where 200 crore doses were administered in the country at a very low cost. And that is how that journey started. Then we had to do e-Pashuat, which is one of the biggest ever Prime Minister objectives. In 2016, it was launched in the country, and it was for digitization of the livestock cattle and the 51 breeds of the country to be enhanced. And that is where epashuhat.com was there. Earlier it was epashuhat.gov.in. And we had to bring this up for the benefit of the farmers of this country, which today, this is the 10th year, non-stop running, self-funded in this thing, and we are a trust which is 15 years old. It is Indian Center for Social Transformation, a public charitable trust, which was founded in 2009. And that was part of the digital transformation. And today also, against all odds, whether it is healthcare, we have delivered, whether it is agriculture, the Kisan Mitra, which is the principal scientific advisor of it. This is what people can see.
Somehow we cannot see, so it's showing the background is coming up. Yeah, your green background that you have, that's covering it
No,
up.
no, not mine. That is the
Already there.
yeah. Okay. So the principal scientific advisor office, which we delivered, and today it is running. We are now embarked on tuberculosis, which is the eradication of TB, where we have identified 20 new drug targets. There's a case study was there where in Karnataka, with the Ministry of Health, Niti Aayog, Indian CST, did the universal healthcare integrated platform. Now this is about 250 different softwares, both corporate, at grassroots level, at state level, central level, private, others were integrated, and that was one of the biggest ever undertaking in India, which is then the universal healthcare, then now it is Aishman Bharat, and now it is ABHA. And 30,000 hospitals were integrated in this country. Then we had to, one of the biggest ever e-governance exercises what we took was digitization of the third largest municipality of India, which is equal to another country in Europe. 17,000 engineers were trained, 20 lakh close to properties were done, 1,10,000 projects in BBMP were documented, updated, and we could get a revenue to the documentation of 10,000 crores, which is about $1 billion for them on the portal. And it was transparency, efficiency, and accountability which we established. Then we had to do the cancer registry. Here we integrated nearly about 450 feeder hospitals of 1,000-bed hospital, which is the Indo-American Cancer Research Hospital, and 4 lakh patients were digitized, brought onto the portal, and that is another history where when we identified, when we analyzed, there were 10,000 children below the age of 10 who had cancer. And that is what was worrying, where these are all from the below the poverty line people. So that is that story there. Then we did the active case finding in the tuberculosis, digital, which happened in the country first time. And we were able to deliver that digitization, which was private hospital, government system, ASHA workers, medical interns of colleges went into the field along with Indian CST team and identified 5,335 patients who are not a part of the reshape program. And after that, these people were put onto the reshape for treatment. COVID came in 2022-23, we checked what is the status of these patients who went in for treatment. And I can proudly tell you all today that all the 335 patients who went for TB treatment were cured. And that is the history. And now, because of that, we have undertaken the TB bond, because we had to cater to the requirements of the downtrodden digital, which was done that time.
Dr. Raja Sivan, I'll come back to you. I want to make sure that everyone gets the thanks. I know each one of you have secretly 5 to 10 twins. I'm telling you, all the four of you, because you are doing the work of 10 to 15 contributions. All we have to do is produce everyone else to be contributing so much. Like, I mean, I will never be able to catch up with all your expertise and accomplishments. Let me request Ambassador Anil Trigunayat. He could not join with his video, as he said. And please introduce yourselves. You know names of the panel, other ones you can see. Please go ahead and introduce yourselves. What are you doing? Take about 5 minutes to give us your background.
Thank you, Professor Murthy, for inviting me with such illustrious panelists. And I have been listening to them, and it's very inspiring. And I must, at the outset, congratulate you for organizing this with so much of enthusiasm and bringing about these kind of talents across various panels. I am Anil Trigunayat. I'm a former Indian ambassador. I have served as an India's ambassador in Jordan, Libya, and Malta, and as the deputy ambassador in the rank of ambassador in our embassy in Moscow. I have also served in Russia, Middle East, and Africa. And now I'm currently associated with several think tanks, and I'm a distinguished fellow at the Vivekananda International Foundation, heading their West Asia Experts Group. I'm also associated with several chambers, and I'm president of a Millennial India International Chamber of Commerce that acts as a bridge between the industry and the government. I'm so happy to be part of this panel, and I would just like to say that, VUCA factor, the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguous, VUCA, that is how the today's world can be described. And we are looking at various black swan events that have been pitching into one another. It has started off with the pandemic, then we have the Russia-Ukraine war, and then we have the Middle Eastern war. Hopefully, now, as President Trump says, we might see some kind of an uh, coldness about these wars, but we do not know. But we all know what happened during these, what kind of an impact it had. In my view, it is the first war, that is the uh, the pandemic, taught us certain lessons, and all countries have to face them. And I'm talking in terms of the global south. And this is called as 4H. One is the health, hygiene, and habitat, and high tech. These are the 4Hs which every government is today has to be concerned in order to look after these people. More so, the countries in the global south who have suffered a great deal and disproportionately from all these three black swan events. Then what has the Russia-Ukraine war taught us? In my view, it taught us 4Fs. That is, when the United States and the West started weaponizing the financial instruments, the Russia weaponized food, fuel, and fertilizer. All these had much bigger, much deeper, much severe impact on the global south countries, developing countries. And now we have a global governance in crisis. There is no United Nations is unable to perform because of the politics of the P5. Now, in that kind of a situation, how do you see that which countries are going to work, which countries are going to provide, which are providing certain kind of a hope when you are looking at the geopolitical, geoeconomic, geo-religious, and geo-technological competition taking place. So, therefore, countries like India, which came up with the policy of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, the world is one family. It was mentioned how we produced our vaccine, how during the pandemic India supplied medicines and other supplies to 150 countries and vaccines to more than 100 countries. It was called Vaccine Maitri. So India today follows a policy of 4 V's, as we call it. It is a value-based foreign policy, which means dialogue, diplomacy, and peace are extremely important for the development. Another B is the Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, as I also mentioned, which is world is one family. It's part of our DNA. And we work and the world acknowledges it today. Third is being a Vishwamitra, be a friend of the world and not uh, trying to dictate to them what they need to do. And lastly, India became the voice of the global south. It is not from now, it has been going on for since we got our independence, even before that. But during the G20 presidency and the pandemic, it came to the forefront. In the G20, as you are aware, when India took the presidency in December 2022, we first thing the Indian Prime Minister actually said is that we must consult the countries of the global south. Now, as all esteemed people and listeners here know very well, that anyone can write a 500-page thesis on what are the requirements of the developing world. But this was not the approach of India. India's approach is consensus, approach is consultation, and therefore 125 countries participated in the Voice of Global South Summit within 3 weeks of us taking over the presidency. And that their recommendations were then plowed into the G20, and it can be reflected and seen into the G20 declaration. That was itself a very big achievement. One of the biggest achievements that India did was the Africa that has been generally neglected. So India made it a point and focused on in that these 55 countries represented by African Union become a part of the G20. So India really converted G20 into a G21. And not only that, after that, we had another, before we handed over our presidency, we again held the Voice of Global South Summit the second time to tell them what India has done. And third one was just very recently held. And fourth, I believe, is going to be held in person in India. So there is something that is the fundamental of our approach to the world. And that's why the more countries in the world today look at India as some kind of a leader when the world is divided and is heading toward the Cold War 2.0 kind of scenario. India follows a policy of strategic autonomy. Strategic autonomy does not mean the withdrawal from the global, but rather active participation in the global on the basis of values and a sane foreign policy, which basically, in my view, includes 5S. And those who are from the Indian background will understand that the S stands for Samman, means respect. Samvad means dialogue. Sahyog means cooperation. Shanti means peace. And Samriddhi means development and prosperity. And therefore, India today is looking to provide for, like it has always been doing it, but more so in a time when the world is getting divided into different kind of blocks, multilateralism on its basically being sidelined to a great extent as more and more countries. We have seen the United States has just walked out of World Health Organization and also from the Paris Accord. Now that those are going to be the challenges that going forward the world will have to face more because the most important, most powerful countries need to be engaged for the larger good of the larger masses and the world. So we'll have to see how it go forward, but India continues to have a principled foreign policy and will continue to work in that for the welfare of the global south. I'll stop here, sir. Thank you very much.
Honorable Ambassador Trigunayat, thank you very much. Your perspective is unique, that you have worked in many countries representing India as the ambassador and deputy ambassador, etc. Thank you very much. I'll come back in the round again. And before that, I want to just get a chance to say little things that I have done compared to you all guys. And I have a world record in the number of conferences organized and the subjects organized, 46 3-day global AI, big data, quantum computing, etc. Those topics I've done. I have a world record in the 15 literary genres when I was only a teenager, organized with Gnanapith Award winners who are equivalent to Nobel Prize in Literature, and I spoke along with them at that time. And I worked on 3 satellites in India. Abdul Kalam was my colleague. Buddy, we used to call him Kalam rather than all the long name. And then I came to USA directly as a professor, and very almost no one has done directly as a professor to USA without going to studies, etc. And then I was rated the highest in the whole university and broke historical record as a professor, being rated 360-day rating students, peer professors, and department heads and deans. So the president of the university suggested to the department heads to invite me to teach other departments as well. And I'm single all my life, no wife, no life. I keep doing this all the time. So I ended up teaching in 6 departments: in management department, computer science department, aerospace department, etc. And I was a professor of music department also, because I have music compositions in all global genres of music. I understand the physics of the instruments and construction of the instruments. Global, I have used all global Japanese, Chinese instruments, Persian instruments, Peruvian instruments in my compositions, for example. And then I'm the founder of the 10th campus of University of California system. You are familiar with UCLA, UC Berkeley, etc., etc. I was given the request to create the university. I brought $18 billion to create the University of California at Merced, got it accredited. The whole building is there. We have bachelor's, master's, PhD, MBA program. We're introducing medical technology program. So I've done a lot of things like this, and I've done conference in every topic you can imagine, including music and literature, etc., etc. I'm a child prodigy actor, public speaker, a dancer, choreographer, because when you don't have a wife, this is easy for you to do. That's what I'm going to say. Now let me come back one more round with Mr. Anil Jha. Please enlighten us on what your evaluation of what's happening in India in the last 5 years. You can go to 10 years, but last 5 years, but talk more on the future. What is thing in terms of metrics and your expert analysis, etc. Please enlighten us. Your voice, you're muted. You're muted.
Thank you, Dr. Murthy, for giving such an insight about yourself. And it is really enlightening to listen to the distinguished panel about whole gamut of the subject. Since all through my life I was a coal miner, so I will limit myself in the coal mining and present energy scenario of India in context of the entire global south. So as you know, in case of India, the known reserves of oil and gas is very limited. The highest imported commodity in India is oil and gas, and India imports oil and gas worth more than $200 billion. But the most unfortunate part is, in case of India, there is a huge resource of coal. But again, we are importing lot of coal also. So government of India has taken a stand and they have opened up the coal industry to the private sector also. And now around 20% production is coming from private sector also. So I am of the firm belief that in coming 5 to 6 years, the import will be restricted to the minimum. Government of India is also taking lot of care so that energy requirement, at least as far as thermal electricity is concerned, India should be self-sufficient, and I am very sure in coming 5 to 7 years, the import will be as minimum as possible. You also know that as far as the electricity generation is concerned, in case of India, 72% of it comes from only thermal electricity. But Government of India has also taken a very ambitious program, and India is going to have an installed capacity of around 500 gigawatt as far as renewable energy is concerned. So the gradual reduction of thermal electricity and gradual increase in renewable energy so that environment should be taken care of. As far as other minerals are concerned, India is also taking a giant leap by opening up this sector to the private sectors also. Now, as far as steel sector is concerned, as far as aluminum sector is concerned, there are number of private players, and I feel the quantity is not to take care of the entire need of the country, but then import will be reduced to as bare minimum as possible. In coming 5 to 10 years, there is going to be energy transition. India will shift from thermal to renewable. Presently, that 72% of thermal will come down to around 47-48% by 2030, and that will be replaced by renewable energy. So, in coming 5 to 10 years, entire electricity requirement will be met by indigenous resources only. India is very fortunate that it has got a huge reserve of coal. Present non-reserve is enough to last more than 100 years. So, India has a very bright future as far as thermal electricity, as far as solar, wind, hydroelectricity is concerned, and India is going to be self-sufficient as far as energy sector is concerned, and going to be just transition in a very sustainable manner so that environment is also taken care of. Thank you, Dr. Murthy.
Thank you a lot. You led us to the futuristic perspective that is very, very helpful. And so I would like to hear from the remaining panel. I'm going to mention the names. Please address what you think India should do to even move up to, is I heard it's third in the ranking of the world in the world in terms of economy, GDP, even though globally you cannot compare GDP for various reasons, because I have expertise in economics, global economics, macroeconomics, etc. And I will discuss in some separate time and so on. Dr. Raja Sivan, please give us a vision of what we should do, what we can do as a country in India there. So we have only 15 minutes left. So take about 2-3
Yeah.
minutes. We'll go for one more
Yes,
round,
sir.
etc.
As I had explained, I have also put it in the chat for you all to see whenever you're
Yes.
free, what is the grassroots level of implementation, integrating governance, both at central level, state level, city level, village level, was an impossible task in this country. And we had to take the challenge as Indian Center for Social Transformation, along with my team, of all social entrepreneurs, which the credit goes to whatever has happened today. It is because it was a team effort. And when we started this trust, along with R. Sri Kumar, Mr. Armugam, Mr. J.K. Rao, all these people, we had to start the trust for digital transformation in this country. But we faced hurdles, we overcame hurdles, and we had to deliver certain things. Now, whatever we have done, whether it is BBMP, it became the world's #1. Whether we did Kisan Mitra, it became the world #1. Whether we did ePashuat, it became the world #1. Whether we did Smart City, we were the first public charitable trust and NGO to do a Smart City platform in the country. When we did Indo-American cancer research, it was the first cancer registry. When we did tuberculosis, which is the primary to eradicate TB. That was the first digital survey, and today we are also going on to the AI diagnostics. Now, what we are looking at is looking at all this crisscross thing. Apart from that, we have also done Central Vigilance Commission, where 2,700 Government of India organizations had to put the quarterly progress report, and various programs were monitored online. What today we are undertaking is that India, against all odds, with talent available in abundance, today we have embarked on this journey that we will dominate the artificial intelligence when we apply, because this is the future of the world, it's the future of this country, where we are addressing the universal healthcare for affordable health. That is one primary. Then we are talking about EcoMark, which we are talking. We are also talking about how carbon credits can be enable the farmers, not only inside India, across the globe. And whatever we have done, the platforms are available from India to the global south for their citizens, for their farmers, the government, to enable that the whole integration of various countries into the system, whether in whichever the fields, whether it is SAIL, whether it is GAIL, whether it is public sector units, all that. Today India is geared up to cater to the international level, offering solutions, offering including investments to other countries. So India is on that marching strength, and we feel that joining the global south, the other countries, developed, underdeveloped countries, we will be able to produce amount of requirements which other countries require, which our own Indian population requires. So we will be able to bring that digital transformation using AI, artificial intelligence and applied AI, where India will be in a position of self-sufficient, whether it is technology, whether it is digital, whether it is hardware, whether it's a building, whether it's a sea, whether it's a port, whether it is agriculture, whether it's animal husbandry. India is there to lead today.
Thank you. Dr. Sarabjit Singh, take about 3, 4, 5 minutes because we are very getting close to that, and we have one more chance we want to give it to the ambassador. Your prognostics, like the other people did, and your recommendation for the country or vision.
You see, the prime mover of all this is education. Our new policy, which is NEP 2020, clearly lays down right from school level to vocational institutions to colleges and the universities what type of curriculum they should have so that the employability is more. It also encourages PPP, public-private participation. It encourages private sector to come in and set up educational institutions. It also encourages to set up the educational institution in the area which is far-flung, where accessibility was low. So building good roads to those new institutions which are coming up in the area which are so far neglected are far difficult to go as a terrain. So education development is taking a big, we can now definitely provide highly educated manpower to many countries. The next one is the transportation. Transportation, roads and bridges have improved, and they're further improving so that our agriculture produce reaches the market well in time and the farmers are benefited. The road transport system also helps for the health care. The availability at every panchayat, nowadays in India, every village is a panchayat. not 5 villages as a panchayat. So due to panchayat has certain facilities and support from the state government in terms of communication, in terms of financial assistance, and they develop. Next one is in the area of renewable energy. Now all unused lands, swamps and other along railway track which was lying unused, they have been converted into solar farms, and that energy is greatly used. It is encouraging that people can have rooftop panels and their own utilization of the electric power could be out of that, and balance can be utilized into the grid. It's also utilizing now. The next one is about the communication. Fiber cable has been laid in the deserts, in the plains, and in the mountains, which is a difficult areas in Leh, Ladakh, where snow is so much and landslides are many. This fiber cable, which is underground, is giving wet communication connectivity to the far-flung area to be accessible. Another is about the water management. Water management, some tunnels are being now done to link a river from one to another and then take it to the desert area where the water shortage is there. Water management also require a lot of sensors and use of artificial intelligence and communication grid. For example, there can be automatic monitoring of water level in the hydroelectric power stations, and the control of the gates opening or closing could be also regulated through the instrumentation and control, and that will be very useful to have water at various places. The As I mentioned about the railways, uh, Indian Railway has its own communications system. It has own department for telecommunication and sensing. Now electrification has been done most of the tracks, and now metro is running all over, and we are using even driverless metro trains, and that communication within the towns, across the towns, is improved considerably. And this movement will improve the status of farmers, of citizens. Another flip has been given to the urban construction of intelligent homes, which are high-tech homes and high-rise building, low-rise building, and the government at the center and at the state are very particular to give home to the homeless. So economically weaker section is being looked after in a big way. Some of these samples are the models could be easily moved to the countries which they need in the global south.
Thank you, Doctor. Let me move on to